There is the Madrid derby, obviously. Italy also, there's going to be Juventus versus Atalanta in the Italian Serie A. Obviously, Manchester United will big one against Brentford away from home after the win against Chelsea. Then what I call the unbeaten derby, also because this weekend, in between the games now. We'll get into all of those ones for you. Oh, I see. Now we did this and community now. I don't know where you want us to start from, Rich. Osha, any fan can start in free.
Starting free, Tiliana.
Italy. Oh.
And I open.
Italy is in time starting free.
Oh, okay. In front of you.
Usually, and now open Italy, we can go to Italy. We can go to Italy.
So open so Enfa La Liga starting.
Italy are banting.
No problem.
Michelle, I think that's still me touch, you know. Which the Italian Serie A has started. Very interesting games. But maybe I do Siciliano. I think so rich. In all over Europe, Yababa Bedru, the level of Yetiti Amitian Nanicha. In a sense that where we've gotten to, it's only results that matters. So once starting any results this year, you are going to be in a lot of trouble because league tables no A-shape up. Italian Serie A table no A-shape up. English Premier League table no A-shape up. All of the other leagues no tables no are shaping up nicely. And say a team that's all our competitions you begin to do your things well. Which this weekend, there Sex Fabregas team, a friend of Cremonese, Como, ex-Nefia against team, a friend of Cremonese in the opening of the Italian Serie A. And Como have been very interesting. One of the most exciting teams of every football fan and as a lover to watch the Italian Serie A. You will love to watch Stima, your friend Como. In the games since the beginning of the season, they have been very good. Almost set, normal winning matches. And when they play at home, it's probably the best time I've ever come for a team. You know, Madrid player, a former Madrid player, friend Nico Paz, has been very integral for team. Your friend Como, our team, your friend Como, and in this game they are going to play against Cremonese. You know, it's going to be an interesting one. I think Fabregas will continue with Como in getting the win that they have to get now. I think that's exactly what is going to happen with Tima, your friend Como, or the conversations they were called. And after that, there are lots more games in the Italian Serie A. There is going to be Juventus, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you follow Atlanta, but since Gianpiero Gasperini left the scene, it hasn't been the same Atlanta. The last time out in the Champions League first game of Boy away from home against Paris Saint-Germain, it was a total drought. Which they were not able to get a foothold on the game. Most of the time, Gasperini, you could see the Atalanta side playing well in the Albert, but constantly they're able to impose themselves in matches. Osha and then the Italian Serie A, they have 8 points and then they have just a +6 of points of goals. Napoli are on top of Italian Serie A. But it means that on Sunday, you're bring a big battle between Napoli and AC Milan. Our Italian Serie A conversation, which Napoli are unbeaten. And the only team Europe, part of the only team of Europe, perfect record. They are perfect record, and they are playing very, very well. Also, on top of the Italian Serie A, perfect numbers. Almost 12 points +6 goals. The games that they play at the Diego Armando Maradona, even when they go away from home, I think on the first game against Cagliari, very tough one. It took a certain Frank André Zomba Anguissa who scored the only goal to get them the win. So you could tell that Antonio Conte is remodeling the 4-3-3 last season on the ball in the Italian Serie A to win. And even now, it's getting better. They are scoring goals, they are playing well, they are getting results. Almost every game they are almost against AC Milan with Max Allegri, big Max, and then in the dugout for them. Maximiliano Allegri has 9 points. After the first game of the season, since then they've not lost. The last time he took a certain Luka Modric who scored the winner for them. And they seem to be getting into the part of where Brentford and Maximiliano Allegri want to take them. the likes of Christopher Nkunku, the last time out in the Italian Serie A, got a goal that Milan wanted. And it looks as if the team is in the right direction. Right? Napoli is going to be a big difference from all the teams that AC Milan for next year. The thing is that it's going to be at the San Siro. Napoli for A2 quite F in Naples. And they'll go to Milan to go and play that game at the San Siro. I don't know. How do you think the game is going to look like on Sunday? Milan versus my friend is saying Napoli. Sunday.
That game no.
Yeah.
And uncle goes now avoid the. So we be winning and I say.
The Italian Serie A, that game the bit 0-0. Easy 0-0.
Omeshe.
And
two teams will be able to go.
I don't have a problem because the reason why I can say anything uncle goes in games like this, the Italian Serie A, it can be 0-0.
So, AC Milan Napoli.
So me before you even get to efficacy myself out. How do you think the game will go like Antonio Conte, Max Allegri, how do you think it's going to be like?
Fierce.
You fear?
No, my patch is a game, no.
Yeah.
Game na ankasa.
Very fierce.
Yeah. Bad game. AC Milan. This season, I'm going to say that you're consistent.
Yeah.
As I'm always on a roller coaster. This week, I'm share the following week.
I'm going to show my first game on the season. The same game, they've gotten 3 out of 3.
Yeah, and I think Napoli, so after winning the league, would want to sign at the league.
Since the season started, we know how much is now.
And then the game near there.
Away from home, the first team game there very difficult. They managed to win it 1-0. Almost sure goals. They are playing very well. I think that Napoli in that game against Milan will go away. And then at least a Napoli double chance is good for me. Juve bet me fear about Atalanta. Like I was telling you, I think say Atalanta is not the Atalanta that we knew. Especially since Ivan Jurasic took over. Like he's not done well. And we only say, if you look at the quality of the Atalanta side, that was not the coach. But it's only a matter of time. The last time out, Brentford come out doing Sulemana came off the bench to score for them. And it was a good game at home at the G-Tech Stadium. Bergamo. But this time, they are going to Turin to go and play against Juventus in a very big one in the Italian Serie A. And that is what makes it very, very difficult for me to bank on, say, Atalanta, winning match when they go away to go and play against team and your friend Juventus, our Italian Serie A. And of course, you see, Juve, any Atalanta, and then you Cagliari will stay at home and then invite team and friend International Milan. Which one is saying? Me one personal thought in the with you. I think that Jose Mourinho took the Napoli, the Benfica job too early. I have a big feeling, say Christian Kivu will leave the International Milan job. And Ofuri Oruma, I think that's
what is the guarantees and go through Mourinho number one?
Say who Ejuma, then down is a possibility. But who Ejuma there, then nobody even thinks about.
No, me crowd them you say.
Yeah.
So what they am fan say John City Fies here on Kwaje Benfica Ejuma Noy. And an Inter Pamum coach. Who is that sort of Jose Mourinho?
But I'm saying
Mourinho no and you come money, you know, Mufano. Inter is similar money.
But Inter is not the Inter that Jose Mourinho called before. So what do you call for Christian Kivu? The other one, would you go for Jose Mourinho? What has Christian Kivu done? Kivu at best, now Palmer and Cagliari. Palmer crisis here. I don't new coach.
But Mourinho is always on Nkoi.
What I'm saying is that Mourinho has done better for Inter before. So they could have looked at Sanima. I want to be a memory analysis. What type of memories or my memories? So Jose has given Inter memories before. So me.
It's because you there. What can you say? Inter board you was be pa maybe a Kivu ya pamano. And yaba board meeting here discuss okay. One year next coach. Who be table pass? You go for Jose Mourinho.
I think afford the number. I didn't think afford the. My name is also. Obviously, we're coach who hopping. 25. It's Inter. So one of them will travel.
Benfica is the Egui.
Enkoyo, but also some memories in now. All of them will travel. So maybe they would have looked at
me. Me sure say Inter.
Well, until then, for me, so only available.
Yeah, for me, memories bebre our Inter. But that time they came. The Mourinho I knew him that time.
Benfica to say they came, but they went for him.
Benfica is Benfica. Inter more level.
Oh, Inter is the same level.
Kofi. We are talking about Inter Milan. The last 3 Champions League no omo come 2 final omo come 2
but after that no coach no appointing is he on the level of Champions League?
No,
exactly. So
but ebia omu say the level on Jose Mourinho but he's there. Me can't so do Mourinho level but the person me say now okay upcoming for no how many time we be to ahead man you know the chairman we
Kibu upcoming Kibu is a senior man
and I me say
from Amsterdam even to Inter
in terms of achievement and as a coach be by normal result and no say na enkomo na me
one thing I make answer what I'm seeing is that Inter Milan a former place where Jose Mourinho coached and the baby at Jose Mourinho coaching in Benfica. Obian said Jose Mourinho nyadi. I'm the first person to point that out. But why did he go to Benfica after say Bruno Lage Corona no Benfica manager no? I say he in full Champions League. Memories. He has been here before. That's all. So for the only coach that has won their treble for them, maybe they could have looked at him for him to come on some on Sunday there's going to be Fiorentina versus Pisa. I think it's a good one for Vincenzo Italiano which now to the English Premier League this weekend. Which this weekend Nyama be best is some English Premier League. Teams they are going into the weekend to look for say Ampampa and last weekend they are good results. We need to build on it. There are certain teams also that are going into the weekend and for them it's about say we didn't do too well last week. We need to revive your money and then put ourselves in a state where you make Pampa we can compete. So it is a league this weekend that has a lot to offer. A lot in terms of what you can get if you were down last season, and a lot in terms of what you can get if you want to build on what you got last season. So very interesting. There are some of them also who go into the weekend almost perfect, but then again, a big test for them. Can they jump that and then get into it and get the results into games that banana? That is the big one. And it starts this weekend at the G-Tech Community Stadium at London in Brentford. It is in your own terms. Brighton for a set piece manager on your coach. And on a proper coaching, Ruben Amorim ever. Now, Ruben Amorim has been very successful, especially in the last 1 week. Was at Chelsea, 2-1, so it's a big win for him. Psychologically, you can't understand the importance of what that win was for Ruben Amorim. It puts him to the next level in terms of strength, or not any players, any teammates, any of the teammates here, for them to believe, so they'll be able to go forward and get the successes of how they want to play their games now, which is very, very important for them. And we will go through them line by line, discuss the games, and then of course we'll get into it, which when I dug a little bit to find my starting lineup in there, because of the presence of our brand here friend Matthias Cunha, and how the game state is going to look like, this is exactly how the starting lineup is going to be. I tell Bayenda, Ebeo Post, the late Maguire Shaw, Patrick Dogu, Manuel Ugarte, Bruno Fernandes, and our brand here friend Diego Dola will keep the weight for them. Mason Mount, Brian Mbeumo, and our brand here friend Matthias Cunha in the team. I think that this game comes down to something. I've said several times, say, the problem of Manchester United, it's not about winning and playing against the big boys. It's never a problem. I told you the last time, say, if it's about controlling variables, anyhow game state will go every time. So when United want a big team, not constantly you hold on to the ball and try to create chances by constant generation of possession. It's not a problem. But almost every time they are in it, because some people control variables now. They don't allow you to control variables. Rich, after 5 games, you have a 6 game in the English Premier League. I think I've seen a couple of things. That tells me that this season will be hinged on almost upsetting the variables and then cause chaos in games. Let me give you an example. This season, you have a record long throw-ins after 5 games in the English Premier League. Teams took more long throw-ins. Sunderland, Brentford, Brighton and Hove Albion. Then we almost their long throw-ins. And even for me to forget, in the game against your friend of Chelsea for Brighton and Hove Albion, The equalizer in the final minute was from a throw-in.
Against Brentford.
Brentford, sorry. Very, very long one. Rich. And now, Athletic did a survey. In that survey, most of the teams that were in this Premier League, you know, now go wrong. Including even the big boys. And we've mentioned that of Liverpool before. Because it looks as if in the last 10 years, we've seen Joseph Guardiola come to influence the English Premier League by playing that 4-3-3 that with him. Constantly having players in various zones of the pitch. Onya +1, yen forming box midfield, yen keep you with Nekakra, and then of course, yen making sure you overloading the last line, and then get in behind and get goals for you. That is exactly what has been the template in the English Premier League. It's Okaya, almost for some time now, every team in the English Premier League, they are all trying to play out from the back. Every company need quality, but they all go through the back. But this season, it looks as if everybody is going the polar opposite of what Joseph Guardiola used to do. Which can you imagine, say, in this weekend's pre-match press conference, Joseph Guardiola sat in his pre-match press conference and said that, oh no, he will not play the tiki-taka possession style heavily again. No strict positional play again. What he wants to do is to go long also, because time will really league no back to back. No. Journalists in England call him boring. Jai, Yembo pass, short, no, every one of them, let us go long and cause chaos. Rich, Manchester United in your bid to win games with chaos and something I think you are very good at now.
Well, Manchester United first 11 number.
Okay, let's go through it.
Na goalkeeper as usual, being there.
Okay.
On that goal position, 3 back of Dalu, Delete, and then Maguire.
Okay.
And then wing backs, you know. Ebeye, Dogu, and then Luxor.
Okay.
Then within Fiifi on Bruno, Fernandes, Ugat, and then a number of Kura, Mbuemo, and then Benjamin Sesko. Enti goalkeeper being there, Dalu, Delete, Maguire.
Who said these days he plays Luxor as part of the back three?
Sure.
So Luxor is going to be on the left of the back three. Maguire as a CCB.
Sure.
Delete as a RCB. Dalu, any adventure friend, Patrick Dogu.
Sure.
Ugat a part.
Yeah, Ugat or Pair Blue.
So the only change from this, Sesko, who comes in, I think he wants to go the same way as Chelsea. Right? It is two chaotic teams there. So I think this game is going to be very close. And United's quality may trump that of Brentford. Brentford has quality. But for them also, they thrive on long balls, chaos, transitions. Say, who do you play? What they do is that they try to win those second balls and then use that very good long range passing from Brighton and friend of Jordan Henderson to find their players. And when they do, the likes of Shalemo, in between the lines and in transition, they are good on the 1v1. And then, of course, they're able to get a goals in there. I think Manchester United, this is a game where you have to build on it. And I want to believe that Manchester United will be able to build on the results against Chelsea and then go forward and get the results against Tima, your friend of Brentford, away from home. Oh, believe someone, right?
Now, so yeah, Chelsea in lose to Brentford.
So you have believed that you will score?
Kofi Yakwashomo.
Okay.
You beat them.
What score line is saying?
2-1 likely.
So the game is starting in just an hour.
2-1 likely. 2-1 likely.
You share team, my friend.
You better Brentford 2-1.
I think it's a United team build it on one.
Also, this season, previously, now you share big teams near your but this season is one with the traditional 6. Omo show me no be a Chelsea near share, right?
Traditional 6, what's your Arsenal? Any friend is saying Chelsea.
And you share Chelsea. And I ain't to be Arsenal. Arsenal game no crown of which I mean, me and say we did so well. And Yaman getting be Arsenal for no.
Mugabe Chelsea, they also win. Let's move on.
You couldn't say
now they will be Chelsea.
There be me problem. Say, Oma mean Chelsea. Me mean Chelsea.
Mugabe Chelsea. They won't say money.
Yeah, the American. Obi can't say mati. Let's say. So Oma mean Chelsea. Me problem. Make me I can't try near.
Okay.
They do Chelsea there now no Chichimu.
Me Chelsea. Me have moved past that.
It's but likely to one. Young Queen. And Chichimu be anyway.
And that is good. So if you say 2-1 there, not able to more than 11 for 7 points. Wait till I 10 points.
Kasa ni na mo try 1 point to 1.
I mean, compare Man U to Chelsea. When I change now, I compare Man U to Chelsea. Nobody's doing that. It is comparing Manchester United to what Manchester United has done. Manchester United has not won back-to-back games under Ruben Amorim.
And then you person any na.
Any time I can to you need to change now the Chelsea babeshin. United for no problem no what no. I told you just United, but change now person for Chelsea didn't make compare. How you compare yourself to Chelsea? Manchester United win back-to-back. Get the next win. You say, Iyampa, Ruben Amorim wants to move forward and leave Chelsea to solve their problems because Chelsea were the problems. Rich, Chelsea were bigger problems than Manchester United. Chelsea problems no so. And Suche United, Chelsea say Bindi. Rich, and now Enzo Maresca call the pre-match press conference. I think say when the season started, I said that Club World Cup will probably give Chelsea more fitness because the general assessment outside was that a bit more players not prepare. And I said that no, I don't think so. You only say a bit more Chelsea rather sharper fitness because on the games ain't or been a 3 weeks break. Until now that you are about to pick and find your fitness, and you are not picking them. So Chelsea should be able to bank on that to get the results. Right? It looks as if the science has been defied. The injuries are what Chelsea need a little bit too much. Can you imagine say, even Joao Pedro? Enzo Maresca said throughout the week, and now Pedro training here. Even some guys said, no, I need any Chelsea for possible centre-back options on Nkomo. According to Enzo Maresca, Obiti said Joshua Kofi a champion. Yesterday was the only day that a young man did train. Trevor Chalobah has a problem. I'm going to your friend Wesley Fofana, because of concussion and its protocols, he has to sit out of 12 days before he can play. Now, Chelsea have taken a decision, say, I'm going to your friend Kopama has to sit off. And then, from now to the international break, and after the international break before he plays, I think that's a good idea. Say, why football is solely based on results and nothing else. Chelsea's situation is clear. And then, say Chelsea can draw even against Brighton and Hove Albion on rich. Hell will break loose or Stamford Bridge. And Kofi are not going to be happy of Enzo Maresca. Already, McLaughlin this morning have been talking about the fact that people are beginning to get worried about how Enzo Maresca is managing the squad. We'll talk about squad management. But Kopama may say Chelsea versus Brighton. Or may say Chelsea Benfica, Jose Mourinho's return to the bridge. Or may say Chelsea Liverpool, and then we go for the international break. Then Nottingham Forest Chelsea and Ajax Amsterdam. In all, about 5 to 6 games, and a team about your friend Cole Palmer is going to miss at Chelsea Football Club. But Nhyira Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, after all the issues, one of the big things is that Chelsea follow in 2025 have a good record at home. Only if you're Premier League, it is difficult for you to come and beat them. And the last time they lost was that game at home against team and friend Fulham at the tail end of last season. And you see, in almost every game that they play at home, they are very good in terms of getting results. And that is what Enzo Maresca will want to bank his hopes on. Say game no, Obenya the results against team and friend Brighton and Hove Albion. I was telling you something. Say, so Brighton for the English Premier League this season, it's about distorting the serenity. And I say the team over forcing the other team and then stop on the variables of chaos. No. Rich, Chelsea are playing against Brighton and Hove Albion. Me and you are two of the teams in English Premier League. Bought the most short passes. Me and you can play long balls. Enzo Maresca can play long balls. I think that has to change. I think it's time for you to vary the style of play, Kakra. And especially given the injury situation, which in the absence of Cole Palmer, and we say when I want to engage him, in the absence of Cole Palmer, Chelsea if you want many attack now. Let's forget about the defense first because I know
Hussein no be any so Madrid.
No, but we see me engage.
When you Chelsea has now Cole Palmer bra. Or now over from where they.
That's why you're an analyst. That's why he's here. Only he has a Madrid fan. He's an analyst, so that's why we got him.
Hussein. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now what to say?
Me hoye. South hoye.
Yamu gusu shine.
Manchester United hoye.
Yeah.
Na baby I hear answer na mama me answer.
me time for
Oh, is it official? And if you are just what's on the time for no? What's on when you two?
We be able fine.
We are very fine. Chelsea in Fiifi on. In the absence of
so yen cat for say Nhyira Hussein. Our kwaba radio, our Brekum. And our Bakuma so ba anam se dey bi say no abade abra. Na yen na enkotina fidie no so na enkeka bia ne nkofie. Enti Hussein oba besrai. Enti Samuel Hussein Adams wa ha ensrem na odi eba go vi now o question no bisa no.
Me pick Hussein mind on. Chelsea Fiifi on. What will he do so Enzo Maresca?
Okay, I think it's a very difficult situation that Chelsea Holmes is here now because recent form hasn't been that convincing. And going into this game now, missing Kupama. Of course, Kupama since the initial is having some recurring injuries. So, in one way or the other, this may not be the last this very season. And the earlier you find an antidote to that, the better. Now, a lot of variables in terms of options that coach in the world. Obetimi akọ direct on some formation, no, but obe change personnel. So in that, I think the only player that is likely to give you what Kupama offers, not to the level of Kupama, but with the potentials, William Estevao. Why? Because Ojebo no be creative, Obe Rene Foul was close to the final third, and then the D zone. Again, with Estevao, I think Chelsea for him say okuta that traits and then potentials to head teams, and that will not change the team too much because ideally you expect João Pedro to be the number 9 and then Pedro Neto also to lead, and this time round Garnacho may possibly get a chance, so it won't change the team that much. But usually it depends on the opponent that you are playing. Sometimes when things like this happened, coach never realized okay the midfield Enzo Caicedo and Kupama omabo mo wachepa. So with this, why not the buy be effective? Because for Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo omumienu have been very robust and combative on midfield. But it's about the omejebo no obeba no de ball na movie. Who say João Pedro war Brighton there were times say Welbeck bar on the behind striker. One of the positions and confirm Otimibo as a second striker. But with this Chelsea situation, so Onobo as a second striker, why in a belly the attack?
Sure.
You get it. So I think that looking at the Chelsea squad and the players available, looking at our potentials, Chelsea is not going to wing it. So Estevao comes in for me, and then João Pedro leads the line. Pedro Neto Garnacho, now any the same. I think it won't change much.
But Hussein, what do you think about say Chelsea have a problem at centre back, right? And we know that the two centre backs are going to be Joshua Champon Chaloba.
Yeah.
Unless AB Abadiashile pass fits and Enzo Maresca wants a natural left footer on the left side on him, then he plays him. But this is what we're expecting. Kukureya, this, that. In Fiifi, it means that you need Chelsea being a little bit of a steal.
Yeah.
Why don't you play Brentford and Andre Santos?
Okay.
So Andre Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez as a 10.
Okay.
Then you keep Estevao Willian on the wing. João Pedro as a 9. Pedro Neto this area. Now, this is nominal. Chelsea Kitabo, now what it means that Estevao can come and play number 10 in possession. Yeah, who say Reece James for the English national team, and even against Manchester United, I ran a Chelsea chasing game, could go up and wide. And Reece has played 2 games from midweek, and I played over the weekend. So, me, I've been always worried about the fitness. But it looks as if he's doing well. So that Reece can keep the weight here. Have Estevao centrally. The same box midfielder Enzo Maresca, he gets it. And then over, I think that like you're saying, the bigger problem is going to be him. Now, Maresca is stubborn. I have a feeling that if you don't take care, he will start at my friend Tyree George as a 9. And watch, and no miss out of pre-match press conference. And what he said was that every time you about Tyree George as a 9, about striker on the team, he wins the match. And although Tyree George is a winger, he may try to do that. But for me, this is the best. I don't know what you think about
it. Back 4.
Yeah, back 4 number 1.
Back 4.
The regular back 4 now.
Possession, turn to be like back 3. Like so that you get the square shape midfield. No. And yeah, bad, particularly bringing Enzo as a 10. Yeah. But it depends on Andre Santos. Yes, he's been good. Yeah. Anytime Andre Santos will be any profile, no, it will replace Enzo Fernandez, particularly as a 8 or Chelsea. So Enzo also to me him add goals. Sometimes he supports in terms of creating. So it will be very good for the squad balance itself. But I was looking at it from the point and say, okay, basically, so a personal changer. But
okay,
this is good. But this is purely about the team and then the opponent that they will be facing. And with Brighton, I think yes, you would love to control the midfield to be able to dominate them before so beat him. This is Brighton already. Man City 2-1. Brighton this is in the form 9 and 1 only 5 points, right? 3 from Man City. We drew against Tottenham. Tottenham Stadium. So that tells you say said they may not play well against the smaller clubs, but some go against big teams now. That is where you see that. Joe Pedro it was those big games.
Let me give you a little data, then we'll move on to that. So Brighton.
You're
quite against any other games. Don't worry, your baby is here. So Brighton 4 million games no match against Man City, against Tottenham Hotspur ball draw, and they getting 4 out of the big boys. According to Premier League data, any opta. Brighton teams have been winning more short passes, like I was saying. But this is the very first time since 2018-2019 a Brighton team have more long passes than short passes.
I see.
So it means that now Fabian Hessler is understanding that the Premier League is changing and he has to change, especially against the big boys. So we are expecting that who Brighton and like the normal Brighton, not Chelsea any space, he will probably come into the game like a Brentford. He will probably come into the game like a Crystal Palace to come and help Chelsea for on him. And Chelsea have to be very careful because it becomes.
Because in the next one, why the best game you move on time in Copa na.
I think that Chelsea has to win.
Okay.
Who will win? I will not be able to tell. Maybe I will say a non-Chelsea fan. You have a better view and biased one. We say one out.
Is it one Casa as a Chelsea fan? Who Casa as an analyst?
And they can tell me say the game is going to be.
From analytical point of view, no share game, no say never.
I won't predict it. We are sure baby answer.
TFA na when we game one of it.
Okay, me going to say a draw, but they both teams to score game.
Both teams to score.
Yes, because Brighton has been scoring almost every game.
Sure.
Aside almost share big teams, only Tottenham about 2-2, right? Or she 2 goals against City. When he said the 2 EFL caps now are bono. The first game he or she 6. Barnsley or she 6 as well. So all the games are mobile, almost goals. Yankuba Minte, Mitoma, Jorginho Ruta, these guys, almost goes. And Fabian Hussein, regardless of any system or the game, one thing is for sure they will attack you.
They have a lot of quality.
And with this Chelsea defense, now no goalkeeper the red card. I mean, I don't know more. We have this service and suspension is coming back. Backline no, looky shaky. And then in times Ebeka even 3 at the back. Yes, Caicedo. The last time Caicedo cost a Chelsea penalty. So sometimes naturally, Ebeza or more careful. So you don't expect him to go that robust anyway, even though he will do a lot of tackles. So based on that, and the reason why I'm saying a bit to my draw, and I say I think Brighton will step up big. They will step up very, very big.
Okay.
So based on that, any attack at Chelsea, the Brighton will respond. So
a very interesting match, especially for neutrals. They will move on. I think say. Chelsea beat Miashe. Very close, but then Chelsea will win this weekend.
Madrid derby.
I want to start like this. Barca have won anti-Ascende, and they are getting a lot of injuries. One Garcia recently, and then Rafinha. On that now, let me catch Eric say, if you look at the Barca team now, this is a team that is getting results even when Lamine Yamal is off. And the funny thing that people are not realizing is that last season, the team was hinged on Rafinha, Lamine, and Robert. Now, this time, only and saying either injury or whatever the case is, sometimes only out. But this is where the best starting season for Ferran Torres is coming. Femi Lopez was in the injury, was playing very well. Then you look at other players, even Marcus Rashford has been good. Danny Olmo not so good, but then also on the whole same matches getting goals from elsewhere. But Barca playing well. Now Madrid on the other hand have been perfect. I mean I can hear perfect, but they're perfect. And they've come into the weekend to play against arch rivals at a place in a stadium where they usually don't get it easy. It was at the Santiago Bernabeu, it's Santiago Bernabeu. But I wonder, it can be anybody's game. We can understand. And like Rich, then you can say, don't be game with the maybe the front guard of Atletico Madrid do not matter. Because the big connoisseurs of the Spanish La Liga will tell you that Why is it that Elcho Wagakoto, Alex Bain are more big names for his team this season and he's struggling? Villarreal and the guys can play with him and it gets results. Why? The last game that they played against Rayo, and it won't be a referee. The Rayo game was another Madrid derby, although it's a mini Madrid derby. This is the bigger Madrid derby. It took to the depth and signed a Brentford friend Julian Alvarez. Any of the most important goal for football club in front of Atletico de Madrid. So it sets the tone for this one. For Madrid, do you want to slip up when Barca are beginning to get some issues? For Atletico de Madrid, like Selena Gabi Cachon, it's a chance to reinstate to season, you know, and then go into the game, get something from it, and probably build on from there. It's a game very, very, very interesting. See, whatever happens, I think it is starting from the game advantage Real Madrid. And I said that this season, you should follow the Real Madrid team with a lot of keen, because they are doing something that in recent past a lot of Madrid managers were not doing. Carlo Ancelotti is probably the best people manager we have seen in terms of coaching. He doesn't get credit for how well he plays in his games. People don't analyze that person that, oh, what tactics. He plays a lot of tactics. It's just that football management, you can win from the management of the personnel and the human resource, and also win from the tactical point of view. It is more consistent when you do that from the human point of view. But Xabi Alonso seems to be doing the both. Why do I say that? And now, journalists ask a very, very tricky question in pre-match about Vinny Jr. Say, how do you think I'll drop it, Vinny, how much is he going on? See, he loves Vinny. Say, Vinny is rare. No, Xabi Alonso, the Nhyira, because he's able to get Vinny to come in to play his football. And I think that has been very, very good. Rich, the starting lineup that we are hearing that can possibly be the case, and then be on the left-hand side, Alvaro Carreras. And I think I'm in love with Carreras, with how good he has been. When you want him to overlap, he's overlapping. When the team needs him to defend, he's defending. There is a return of a Brentford friend, Dean Heitzen, back to the fold. There is Thibaut Courtois in post, a Brentford friend, Eder Militao, and Dani Carvajal, who had a red card in the Champions League, but of course in the Spanish La Liga is fit to play. Now the midfield changes a little bit. Tchouameni, Valverde, Arda Güler, Mastantuono, a Brentford friend, Kylian Mbappe, and a Brentford friend, Vinny Jr. So what it means that we will go onto the tactical board, then I invite Hussein in. Then, of course, how will Madrid play on the ball? How Madrid will change a couple of things now. You better start coming now, Honor. Hussein, Madrid for now have a lineup of a back four of a sort.
Yeah.
So, I mean, change it Madrid just, you know, I say so that we have a proper Madrid Honor. Then after that, you can go in with it. Mm-hmm. Now for your this and come on nicely.
Of course, but I think even Madrid Crano, the lineup is very clear. Of course, Dario AS Maraca, because Xabi Alonso since Oba Madrid, and the intent has been very clear. Mm-hmm. He gives chance to him no balance the squad no prove. So Nyame say nay predicting Madrid's lineup and the way they will play, particularly under Xabi Alonso, very easy. Courtois imposed, as Fifi was saying, Carreras as the number 3 because they were relegated Frank Garcia, and then Fela Mendy cried he's not returning, and so returning now Obebre again. Dani Carvajal, the number 2. Militao, of course, the last time interestingly, Militao the share they go in the La Liga. Emma let's go Madrid take now Militao and then Dean Huysen. That tells you say Madrid Benyo almost solid back line no plus the goalkeeper. Now the midfield. I think maybe a mad concern with Abrante and the Jubeli and Bahwabano because 2 games of revenge na Aba, and he looks very ready. So why is the small minutes now Abona? Even though if you want to take caution, people may say it's not advisable, but game way of its intensity near the end, you need juice profile to be in.
And coach to be able to cover it.
What does it now?
So now can I say he should start in the midfield 3. Per what AS Darius and Marca are bringing out now. It is Tchouameni, Valverde, any other Güler.
Yes.
Now what you are saying is that you should replace whom? Arda Güler or Mastantuono?
To me,
yeah,
I think it should be Mastantuono.
So likely.
But my problem is, without Mastantuono, Xabi Alonso team never function the way our opposite function na. Why? Because Sawari and the ball now or Bonua. players will be very comfortable on the flanks. Again, fullbacks and supporting fullbacks are omo creating those half spaces any chance from the wide zones. Other gulas were dropping in because with the system, no, the last time game no free bench by we saw some part with Chomeni and Fedi Babadi creativity be a need in Fiifi, and with this game because of its intensity, first Chomeni should start, and he's obviously going to start looking at his form. Fedi Babadi undroppable, and games like this you need him.
But also, saying is intensity not enough reason not to start him?
That is where I'm heading towards, because the reason I'm saying that, so based on this, I think I was saying Jude Bellingham Beckham midfield, no, so it will be Jude, Chouameni, and then other Gula in front of them. Now you bring Fedi Valverde to the previous position now, no ball as on the right wing, but without the ball, Vini and then Mbappe leads the line. So more of a 4-4-2 shape, but it will give Real Madrid that midfield defense and then the width that they need. Again, don't forget, the threat of Julian Alvarez comes from the wide. A lot of the goals now, the last time the audition Madrid, so you will need to always make sure that you occupy those wide spaces, and with this 4-4-2, I think it will help Madrid. This kind of games, and yet the normal games, Rayo, Levante, Sociedad, these are not those kind of games.
This is a derby game.
Yes, and the most important thing is about managing and winning, maintaining your form and the results. Because another maker say we're a proper litmus test to Xabi Alonso in the season. It started Club World Cup, no being him say aye until they met Paris Saint-Germain. Real Madrid for and then all of a sudden everybody forgot Real Madrid in the Club World Cup. They were in the semi-finals, right? Yeah. But to be a referee because a drew baby a test more proper. No? They couldn't show up. Now all the games that Madrid have won, including the Champions League, yes, it been really convincing. But for people to believe in Papa the Diade Xabi Alonso, no, set games because some Madrid game where we are. I think in the next 3 games or so, there will be Clasico. Yeah. And you need to show something, prove something.
But one guy I was saying personally, Xabi Alonso from the Champions League to the La Liga, were impressive.
I think we're impressing me very well because Club World Cup new science. The situation that Madrid won before the Club World Cup, Obia Kra and Gio Mwendi, so they drew that far. But they were able to prove something, at least being eliminated by Paris Saint-Germain on Inter Champions League 5, and look at the players making it into the top 10 of the Ballon d'Or. So that tells you, he did very well. And now you better assessing it properly. And a season, this is a season that pre-season incredible. I think 2 games played. The last was against Terror, and on the best start this season, and he's been ruthless. 100% record, perfect record, 18 points in the league after 6 games. First game, first win in the Champions League. So it's been very impressive because even Vinicius, Fiifi say, coach in dropping him more times, he's been the best. 3 goals, 3 assists, isn't it? In the league. So this is the Vinicius you want to see. Mbappe perform under the coach. Now, when we pick the players one by one, I can tell you, the outfield player, the only player that I see struggling. First year Courtois because of the way I coach in the ball. So Jebona was a struggle. And then maybe Fedi Valverde on him back to his elements. But even Mastantuono, Obia appreciates that he's just young, but the oil
of fitting to the Madrid team power.
Again.
That is why, and for me, it is because of the South American flair.
Yeah.
The intensity. And how Watcher said tactically he fits what Xabi wants him to do. Good. That's how I'm starting.
Exactly.
So I understand it's a derby game.
Kofi, say Xabi Alonso. So game between Mastantuono and then you can say Jude. Over start why?
Mastantuono starts.
So Jude still come from the
because it's a derby game.
No, I understand, but Jude is injured. Or by injury. I mean, I don't think say why say play or ball just a few minutes. So I want a derby game. Derby game I will chase up intensity. Then give the player that show you the intensity. Has Mastantuono questioned intensity?
No. And without the ball, the recovery is so great. I think that's one of the
that's the most important.
Without the ball, he's been great.
What Xabi is looking at,
what
Xabi is looking at in this team, without the ball.
Yeah.
It was the weakness of Carlo Ancelotti's Madrid. Not to take anything from Carlo, but when you have a team of Mastantuono and if Dani Carvajal will push up to come and do the overlapping one. And Mastantuono will occupy this house space for counter pressure. You need to play him. Jude is not getting into it. Jude is a senior player. And yet Jude will play. But in a game like this, you keep Franco Allow other goalie be on for the creative half of the team. Because I said it several times. These two players, they all like to drift. Yeah. And Madrid have had a problem of central box occupation. Here, nobody occupies it. But one of the things that have happened with other goalie, and that's been very smart from Xabi Alonso, is that anytime Mbappe drifts, and other goalie comes in, especially Vini is not on the field. Anytime that Vini drifts, other goalie occupy the space there. And I think that is very good for them. They are playing against an Atletico de Madrid team that doesn't have a lot of confidence. Yes, the win against Real will give them something. But it is not at a point where they can compete. Which, this Madrid team is very balanced. And that is the strength too. They don't play better than Barcelona. They don't press better than Barcelona. They don't score better than Barcelona. What Madrid has is that they have quality. And quality in Madrid I want. Xabi Alonso buy you. Oh, we say okay, if I have quality, what do I have to solve? Balance. Because in Mbappe on any day, 50-50 chance, you are sure that he will get you a goal. Vini on any day will cause chaos and get a goal. So if you have this, get balance. And balance today for me is Mastantuono in the team ahead of Jude Bellingham. Essentially, Jude will play. For me, I think it's Madrid don't usually win at home. I think it's three losses, 3 wins, especially in the last 15 or so, and the rest have gone on to win.
I
think that's all sad games with more. This is a game where I think say Madrid are going to get at least a double chance away when they go and play against my friend Atletico de Madrid. I think that is what is going to happen in Madrid match.
Kofi, Michelle, number no.
I remember.
We say wrap up Amanina Emrefi.
I think Barca Bebonya had much now.
Yeah.
It's a game I expect Barca to win.
Against Sociedad.
Yeah. I expect Barca to go away to Real Sociedad and then get a good win away from them. You see, when you look at Football Club Barcelona, especially in recent, like I was saying the last time, the best thing that Barca have had is a team that's able to stand up. Even in the absence of Lamine Yamal, that's been the most important thing. And I think Hansi Flick has done 3 things to the Barca team. 1, discipline. 2, to evolutionize the mindsets and the emotions of the Barcelona team. And then to form a team. Barcelona was easy to have been a Lamine Yamal team. But when you look at Hansi Flick, constantly it's about a team. Who plays. We also say that will probably be a bigger test for Barcelona than everybody has been. Even more difficult than the Levante match, when you go into that game and you talk about it. But I think that it's a game where I'll give a Barca double chance when they're traveling away to the Anoeta. Liverpool finally will play against your friend
Crystal Palace.
In an interesting game or English Premier League game. If Anna Slot is able to get a job done today, then I think that is it. I think that he crowns everything up in terms of games over. So Timinia's results against Crystal Palace.
Okay.
But I think that game most likely ends in a draw.
So of course, you need to do that.
We can go on to other things now. You did in common. So music for now.
Oh, I'm not crying.
Yeah, sorted.
Yeah.
And training now.
Go start so Drew Odges.
Okay.
I'm so prepared for just Kabili.
Okay.
In terms of numbers, no.
I was saying I write my course.
Okay. We'll wrap you up, mommy. With the games in the bus this weekend.
I think
the others will come here now.
The biggest attention they will Spain because of the Madrid derby. Of course, these kind of derbies, and easy derbies. And when it comes to derbies of this intense, the historical background of the derby, the political side of the derby, and the sporting aspect comes into play. And the Nhyira evidently a display on the field of play. So every detail on the reason. Now this derby a lot of headlines even before say 2:15 and after the game there will be a lot of headlines as well. But the biggest one will be who wins. Now before this game, after Atletico Madrid they shared 3-0 3-2 against Rayo, right? And then Abrante and the other Julian Alvarez said now they will do everything possible to win against Real Madrid. So that was where the intensity of this very derby is at its apex. And this gives us every clue say game we Atletico Madrid phoning himself regardless of form enye. It's a derby, and the most important thing is a team.
And a derby boy day.
Good, and this derby don't place too much premium on form. Yes, for the fans, yeah, then it gives you confidence to trust your team. So you're a Real Madrid supporter, but this is a derby game which on the foot of play, unfolded completely different. We are talking about Atletico Madrid. Even though they struggled to win against Real Madrid in recent times, but the recent games, in the last 6, Madrid are winning only one away. Yes, historically, when it comes to this derby, Madrid has been dominating in all competitions, in the league, again, in other meetings. This derby give you a lot of different results, but it is about the outcome. Now, the amount derby were interesting, no? One, even though they dominating across the portals who Spain baby, so here Dario AS newspaper no pay. While AS Maraca, the front page is about the derby, and the two players so Fiifi analyzing game. You saw the flyer. It was Julian Alvarez versus Kylian Mbappe. Yes, on the other side there is Vinicius versus Griezmann. Vinicius may be in because in recent time he's been the main subject. The Sobe Kaya that
was one player as well or caught one down because
imagine say you Madrid derby and then road leading to the stadium no why I'm saying the boy on the share before
because as any time bia Madrid be ball Atletico Madrid
on the main
side kind of reception of them Brentford very hostile
and not just the Francis Atletico Ultra Group no more, including Koke, no certain players will team sometimes
tackle crap, corner so crash, baby.
So now, and I think the NTR Julian Alvarez and Mbappe dominating headlines is for a healthy game because Alvarez in the last Clásicos, in fact, Champions League or Real Madrid, League or Shea. Now we are talking of Kylian Mbappe on also against Atletico Madrid, but I don't know was at the Bernabeu. So last season, in their respective teams, Obia share against the Madrid opponent, and our form. Alvarez is coming on the back of a hat trick. Mbappe is coming on the back of 7 solid La Liga goals, and he's scoring in almost every game. So it tells us it's on a healthier level, and the personalities that will be involved. The last time Madrid in the league, and Madrid share first goal 64th minute Beletao and Courtois celebrate here, and that was what invited Atletico fans and more to lighter objects. So the game was hot for 15 minutes, and then Koke captain plus Diego Simeone fans and Atletico Krenya partial ban. That was the last one. The sad frustration taker. Now again, Madrid could face you in the Champions League. And game now, even though Atletico Madrid so we knew when if after Madrid they win first leg 1-0. A couple penalties. Look at the way in which Madrid Eddie Atletico Madrid in the film. Julian Alvarez has a double kick. So it tells you say Atletico Madrid and Madrid games in power headlines they dominate. Sure. This time round DNBC potentially I didn't say Pepe.
I'm Madrid fan, but so game now on paper.
Madrid lose stronger. Yeah, they lose stronger. Why? Because Atletico Madrid conceded a lot. It has been one thing. I'm almost suffered this very season. And looking at the last time, look at the intelligent goal Vinicius scored. Again, Mbappe have confidence to the level say he is scoring from distance that you wouldn't even imagine. Now, Militao is on form. Now, the reason why I'm saying that Madrid looks favorite, ASA, even in the history of this derby, our Atletico Madrid home. Out of the meetings in 118, Madrid are in 41, 44. Atletico Madrid are in 43. The difference is 1. That tells you say even our Atletico Madrid our historical head-to-head advantage plus the form I think Atletico Madrid will have to put up a fight to prove to the world say yes.
Madrid derby now.
Madrid derby they are there. Okay. And yes, there is a game that Madrid are favorites to win this very game. Now, Barcelona benya the advantage after this game and results before say Now, what this means, in La Liga table, Madrid actually Barcelona only 2 points. So any slip, Barcelona will catch up. And last season, at a point, it was like this. Now, whatever being the case, Barca Air Coast Sociedad game, Wabra Barca was form. It was only unfortunate. Say injuries affected them. Yes, the injuries with Barcelona now, I think the problem no ever expose you big time in the Champions League game against Paris Saint-Germain. But in this game against Sociedad, I think they will manage and win. Why? Because Madrid have played against Sociedad and Madrid they 10 against 11 as a Sociedad. The reason why it is so is that Udim said the whole season, Sociedad are winning only one game. Now that one game now Sociedad are winning happens to be their last game. Boy. Sociedad are struggling because this is not Emmanuel Augustin's Sociedad. Since the neighbor chance, you know, and of course Saudi Arabia Al Shabaab. So they brought in remember that team B coach. Actually, he was team C because he was coaching Sociedad C team. No? When Xabi Alonso left, now Xabi was team B. I don't know team B. No? And then said yeah, Emmanuel Augustin, Sergio Francisco Ebaye as the main coach. But it looks as if so far, so regardless, Mikel Oyarzabal, Barenexia, Takifusa Kubo, all these players that you can mention in the side of Sociedad, you know, from defense, John Aramburu, team putting up that solid performance. To me, Barcelona able because we are talking about Barcelona that in the recent games, was Valencia 6. Was all the things that in their face the last time 3-0. That tells you Sampa, even in the absence of Lamine, in the absence of Alex Bad, you see Hansi Flick has been managing Barcelona complex Obabas and the whole tournament from signings to injuries to a lot of. He started the season. Abraham Obia Nim say ni defender no Inigo Martinez beko. Oko yet Barcelona are playing and doing very well. He went to Newcastle without Lamine and Bardi. So playing this game, even though Rafinha did a big blow again, the goalkeeper in Juan Garcia will be helping them. And also a very big blow. But I think but they will win this game. The bigger problem no awaits them in the game against Paris Saint-Germain. That is where you are going to feel the absence of those players. We are only hoping say AB and China Lamine Benya some few minutes and then he will be very ready for the Champions League. If not, now Lamine is so available for the Champions League, there will be a problem for Barcelona. So I think with this game, Barca will win. It's a time on Koya. Why is everybody refusing and I say forgetting about Harry Kane? Because
100 goal at the Amabai.
Good. So far, since the initial season, he's been the best player in Europe.
Best player.
I would say looky quiet, triggering. Because we don't appreciate what he's doing. I'm about how many matches? 5. Was it 10 goals? And if you look at Harry Kane, it means that he scores 2 goals in every game. 10 goals in the Bundesliga. Oh. Put that aside. About one Champions League game, he scored 2 as well.
Against Chelsea.
Good. So Harry Kane is proving. And the record that he's doing, this is a record that surpasses Cristiano Ronaldo with Real Madrid, 105 matches. Erling Haaland, IAFN goal machine. Harry Kane's record surpasses Haaland. Number of matches our boy and son are 100 goal for Man City, Ronaldo for Real Madrid. These are the best of their records on multimedia with clubs are almost perform you. Now we are talking of a player Okobayan just 2 seasons ago. After a season, even the 3 seasons, into about 2 seasons in full, and about only 5 games in the Bundesliga plus 1 Champions League game. Okay. And we are talking of 100 goals. This is an English striker.
Underrated.
Extremely underrated because we don't pay attention to it.
It's because of Nitima no Banza no Kobayan.
Regardless,
Toriam
but the Toyam bought Champions League final, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Harry Kane, even with Tottenham, we're winning Golden Boot, I think twice. Yes, sir. Yeah. Again, we are talking of a player, Champions League. Cecilia or Bayern, no, he's having 21 goals. We're quite 100 goals in total for Bayern. And in the first season, he had 36 league goals. Second season, 29 league goals. They be a top scorer and he's winning. How can is that striker that the reason why we should appreciate is just put him in the system of Man City. Never say goals to saying and Kobeshe. Again, he will add you more than what Erling Haaland is giving. Put him in every team. Man, you friend and fans the way they felt, including you yourself, because he's extremely intelligent. Also, a team player. ne link up play he assists as well 29 assists no work home but obi am found because he know all buying but by the time we realize if you don't take care players that have the potential on major ballon d'or you better pay it no Bayern J Champions League England and so a very good squad to appear in the World Cup.
Right.
No more call money kakra bi abon say Harry Kane so Trinity for Ballon d'Or.
Hussein Adams.
Echado.
Mi jawe ne be one and me. Already u jano one akran so no. Enti yemfa Hussein is so. Na inya kwan emrefie. Kofi number 9 ready yemfa to jane coach ni na.
Coach no.
Emrefie.
And there are 10 coats no won.
Okay.
10 odds won. And for the past 3 days, 14, 13 odds, 10 odds, they be a winning. If you are not staking, then I don't know for you. Rich, what's your radio as well? First one, a BW1476683. Next one, a BW1476590. Third one, a BW1476485. The fourth one, which is going to be the last time, about high BW147613DE. Michelle, OT, so I can take screenshot on all of my social media handles: Fiifi Manfred, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Baby, you get the codes. Now,
okay. Number
yeah, the metro streaming.
Oh, okay. Enti the number number 2 on Mrs. Ye o pick here. Obaso join here na onso no. Wait me ajoin na bibia no I come and show 104.5